Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jacob Harden. I am the T-Series, SureColor T-Series product manager for Epson America. And we are right here in our technology center, which is located in Carson, California. We have lots of printers here. We have lots of things that we do right in here in our lab. But one of the great things that we have available to us inside of this lab is a bunch of video equipment and the ability to do demonstrations like this, where we're going to talk about our brand new SureColor T-Series production class products today. So I'm very excited to be here, very happy that everybody could join, and we'll pull up the presentation here and get started. And once again, very sorry for the delay, but we're rolling. And let's go ahead and talk about this brand new SureColor T-Series product today. Looks like our slides are up and rolling. So let's start with a little bit of history. Basically, our SureColor T-Series lineup is a lineup of technical and CAD printers that's been around for over a decade. We started with 3 models in the printer line, and this has expanded to over 13 models. With the new introduction of this product that we're about to show you, we're going to be expanding to close to 19 to 20 models in the SureColor T-Series lineup. So this line is a big investment for Epson and a heavily supported line. Historically, this line for SureColor T-Series was born out of our P-Series products, which were photography based. I'm sure a lot of people in the room have heard of T-Series photography and photo printers. They are used by some of the world's best photographers, fine art. They print on canvas and a lot of different medias. So very, very popular. And about 10 years ago, we decided to take that core technology that's in the photography product and branch that out and make that into our introduction into the CAD and technical space. So it's been a long road. It's been a great road. But again, we have taken that technology and advanced that to what will be over 20 models in the SureColor T-Series lineup next year. So big line, big support, lots of different options. Let's go ahead and talk about where this product fits in that lineup. So our SureColor T-Series, we classify those into 3 separate categories. The first one is small office, so it'd be like a T3170 or 2170. We have a whole lineup devoted to small offices and home offices, which obviously over the past 1.5 to 2 years has been very, very popular as people are starting to go and work from home a little bit more and work in small office environments. So we have a whole section of the line that's actually dedicated to that space. So that's small office CAD. And we also have a midline product line, which is devoted to workspace and work groups. So this would be somebody in a workspace with 20, 30, 40 different people possibly sharing the same printer to print their CAD drawings and their graphics. Maybe there's a printer on every floor of the office, so on and so forth. So a little higher volume, a little more network friendly in terms of having a lot of people use that same printer. But that is our workgroup CAD space. So that's the second lineup that we have, or segment we have in the SureColor T-Series lineup. What we're talking about today is actually production CAD and graphics. So we're talking about a high speed, very, very fast, multiple color ink system, and with some other features that are really focused around the production or kind of higher volume environment. So if you have, jobs where you're printing out 30 or 40 or 50 plus pages at a time, or you're running this printer constantly, or you have a lot of volume across a lot of different users, that's what we're going to talk about with this new product today. So let's go ahead and get started and show you some of the ins and outs. So one thing before we do that, SureColor T-Series, we like to think of it as one of our most versatile products that we have in the line. So we have products that are dedicated to photo. As you know, Epson has products that are dedicated to textiles and direct-to-garment and T-shirts and stuff like that. SureColor T-Series has a lot of variety because of a lot of the things that it can do. So the main thing that we do with this line is we build printers for architects, engineers, construction. But the ability of this goes beyond that. So we can also do graphics such as point of purchase or posters for schools and education, and a lot of different graphic things that are full color as well out of this printer because of the different medias that it's able to print on. Also too, with the speeds of this new line, if you have a Reaper Graphics house or a shop that does print for pay, for example, this is a printer that could suit that purpose as well because it's got the high speed and it's designed for that kind of production work. And of course, just generally across education, corporate, IT departments use the SureColor T-Series printers to print out big process maps and stuff like that. Engineers can use it. Electronics engineers can use it to print out large, printouts to look at chipsets and different plans and stuff like that. So anyway, very, very versatile. A lot of different people can use SureColor T-Series for a lot of different reasons. So let's talk about the base. I chatted about this a little bit with that core technology that's in the photography products, that's in the SureColor products. Basically, our investment in printhead technology is a long one and very invested one. So we've spent over 20 years to develop our core technology, which is called Precision Core printhead technology. The benefits of Precision Core are extreme print quality. It's very, very precise, and it's commercial grade reliability. So we have built this technology so we could use this from anything from a small office printer all the way up to Precision Core and our industrial print heads for our industrial presses. So this is a technology that carries all throughout Epson, huge investment, but one of the biggest benefits, I think, of Precision Core technology in the SureColor T-Series line is really the fact that it's heat-free and it's designed to last the life of the printer. So the print head inside of these products is not a consumable. It's actually designed to last the life of the printer. So that means that you could have possibility of lower intervention, not having to change out print heads, so on and so forth. So it's really designed to be there and work and check for clogs when necessary and auto-correct itself. So we really just designed this to be a printer that has long longevity and minimal intervention. And that's the idea behind that industrial grade Precision Core printhead technology. So without the printhead is basically the engine of the car. Now we have the gas, which is the ink. And the ink technology is designed specifically for that Precision Core printhead. Our latest generation ink for these products is called XD3. And XD3 is an all pigment ink set. In this printer, it's going to be a 6-color. So we'll have CMYK. We'll have a black ink inside of this printer for photo printing, and we'll have a black ink for matte printing. The next ink that we've added to make this a 6-color set is now the addition of a red ink. And the red ink is a great benefit for this printer because it allows great brand colors when you print POP and graphics. It adds to the color when you print GIS maps and different kinds of map overlays and stuff like that. I know a lot of you are doing that in your current workflows right now, so there's a benefit that comes with this. But this is a 6-color ink set that really opens up the amount of applications that you can do with this pretty versatile printer. So Ultrachrome XD3, 6-color ink set, and the cartridges that are available for this, you could do 110, 350, all the way up to 700 milliliter cartridges, or any combination thereof. And the benefit there is great because if you're using a lot of matte black ink for a lot of technical drawings, but not as much color, you don't have to keep 700 milliliter color cartridges in there. You could use 110s and use the larger size cartridges for 700 milliliter, and vice versa. So you can match all those things up depending on what your needs are. So that's a great versatility in terms of the variable cartridge sizes that work with these printers. Now, last thing too is that this new platform has actually allows us to create a special printer that's going to be introduced and shipping next year, which instead of cartridges, it will use 1.6 liter ink bags. So that is an enormous amount of ink that can be put into this printer and utilized if you're doing very heavy production and you're running this printer for hours and hours at a time. Less ink cartridge changes, a lot more productivity, etc. But we'll have a version of this for extra heavy production that's coming out using 1.6 liter ink bags next year. So, and then we've got the ink, We've got the print head technology. We've added one more layer to this advancement in this line this year, and that is the inclusion on most of the models of the Adobe Embedded Print Engine. So this will be included on most of the printers in the line, and it's going to allow up to 3 times faster processing of complicated PDF data than our previous gen. And what that really amounts to is that if you're printing a 200 megabyte, 300 megabyte file PDF that has multiple layers on top of it, let's say there's a street layer, a building layer, landscape, etc., just to give you an architectural, example. If you have something like that, it takes a lot of processing power to get that rendered and get it through the printer. The Adobe Embedded Print Engine on board will really help out a lot with that. It's got 4 CPUs involved, and that's really going to help out and increase that productivity on those very, very large files. Another benefit of Adobe Embedded Print Engine is that you can do a PC-less workflow. So if you want to take those complicated PDFs or GIFs or JPEGs, put those on a USB flash drive and put it into the printer, you can print directly through USB on this as well. So that's another benefit of having this embedded print engine. The last thing is just an increase in accuracy. So a lot of files that are created in the Adobe suite have multiple layers, and those have to be accurate in a lot of cases. So that print engine, which is decoding what was made in the Adobe Creative Suite, is able to take each of those layers and reproduce those faithfully when you build these files, and it renders out and sends it into the printer. So you can see on the screen right here that sometimes you can have a transparent layer that normally wouldn't come through as transparent. It's going to default as an opaque background, whereas the print engine would render that as you intended, which was to be transparent. So again, it's nice to have that built in because it's going to speed things up. It's going to make things accurate and make things very, very precise when you need that stuff in the application that you're using this printer for. So you can see on the screen, very compact production class design. So this is a new format. This is a new generation. This is a new design that really takes the arms and the different sizes of what you would consider a production class printer and kind of eliminates those into one composite design. So you can see right here, this only comes up to my waist. There's no stand on it. Everything's just located right on the front and the top. And it's a one-piece design that basically rolls off the pallet, plugs in, and within 30 minutes, it's ready to print. So that just takes a lot of the installation time and a lot of the building of different components to get this thing running out of the equation, and gives you a printer where you can set it up very, very quickly and everything's accessible and ready to go. So brand new design. We've got a lot of great compliments on this printer of those who've seen it in person, but you can kind of see what we're looking at right here. It definitely looks different. Very, very sleek, very compact, whole new generation, whole new era for this style of printing. Another benefit of having this being so small and so slim is that you can stack these printers back to back. So I can take this and I can print pushing it all the way back against the wall. So if you have limited space and you want to add 4 or 6 or 8 of these printers in kind of a production environment, you can stack them back to back and you could really save a lot of space that way versus everyone having to be in its own space or own dedicated place in the back or the front of the office. So again, this new design is kind of opening up these possibilities of arrays and different configurations that you can do when you use these printers. So you can see it too on the front that everything is operated right from the front of the unit. So when you look in the front of this, basically your paper, your media, all the cartridges, maintenance tanks, everything's done right from the front. So those who are doing a lot of production could really appreciate this because you don't have to lift those rolls up and over the printer and put those in through the back, for example. Some of them can be pretty heavy, especially the 500-foot long large rolls of media that you might have. So again, it's just making it very, very easy and thinking this through when we design this printer about how much work is done in the front of the printer and how that's going to save time loading consumables and loading these media stuffs in and out of the printer. So we talked about the outside, we talked about the ink, we talked about the media. Let's dig in a little bit more and talk about what's going on internally that we've made a lot of improvements on. So In that 10-year time span plus of having all these products in the line, we've really been able to garner a lot of customer feedback. So there's a couple things that we've added directly based on the feedback of those using SureColor T-Series printers right now. So one example is we've added a light on the inside, dual roll with auto loading, which we'll talk about here in a minute, the new inks, the new print head, user accessible maintenance. So we have a door in the front and door in the back where if you need to wipe a little ink or if you need to do just a little bit of self-maintenance, it doesn't require much, but it'll actually make the print head accessible so you can get in there with the wand and just clean it very little. So that's something that's new and improved. So a lot of different features, a lot of different upgrades, and all of this has really come from the ability to design this new platform based on user feedback. So the print head that we talked about is actually 2.64 inches tall, which is double the size of our previous generation print head. So what that allows us to do is make a very, very fast printer. We actually deliver A1D size prints on this printer in as little as 16 seconds. So that's 3.7, almost 4 D size prints a minute on this platform, on the 44-inch model. So I will set this up right now, and let's go ahead and take a look at how fast it prints on this A1D size print. Almost done. So there it is. And if we can grab a camera, even at that speed, I think I can kind of show you the detail that we get from a print even coming out in that, that kind of speed. So if we could see that on the camera, we still have very fine lines. Everything's very precise, but that was an A1D size print in about 16 seconds. So if you're printing those big files that are 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 pages wide, something like that, it's a really big benefit to have a very speedy printer. So we just sent another color one through and we're printing that out right now. And that's 2 pages right there, just in that amount of time. So again, that 2.64 precision core print head allows us to be extremely fast. So we're very, very excited about that. And we think that's really going to help out for those who are printing a lot of stuff and need to get it in and out of the printer very, very fast. Okay. Let's flip back to the presentation and we'll keep going, talking about some of the more features of this printer. Okay, next slide. So not just for CAD drawings, but also for posters, it's very, very fast here as well. So, our poster speeds are rated at over 300 square feet per hour. So to give you an idea, when you're putting on a glossy poster media, that's up to 32 posters per hour. So if you're doing POP, or if you're doing kind of posters, or if you're doing something on, graphic materials, you can do that at speeds up to 32, per hour for a 3x2 kind of poster right here. So basically the printer with the 44-inch delivers fastest in-class print speeds with those CAD drawings. So again, very, very excited about this. And, I think I saw a comment in there. Somebody said that's extremely fast. So you can definitely see the benefit of that 2.64-inch precision core print head. Now let's talk about some more things, especially related to media. So we have this integrated dual roll system now, which is based on a dual roll operation that's really fitted to production class users. And the reason is because we understand that, production class users or somebody who's doing a lot of prints is going to be printing a lot more than a typical user on a printer like this. So having dual roll definitely has a benefit. When you run through one roll, it's going to switch to the other one and pick up on that automatically. So you can do that 2-roll productivity and keep things going. And you don't have to be in the same room to switch it over to the next one. Also, too, I know a lot of folks who go out and they're printing on CAD media all the time, but they also want to shoot through a couple posters sometimes. Or maybe you're doing something that's a lot of 11x17s, but then a lot of team might use the printer to do 44-inch wide prints, for example. So on that printer, it's nice because we actually have two separate widths rolled into this printer right now, and you could switch between the two, and it'll do it automatically based on whatever you send to the printer. So that's definitely a solid benefit of having two rolls on this. We do have our 24-inch product, which will have some single roll options, but we'll talk about that in a second. Mainly, this product line is designed for that dual roll capability. What's also nice on dual roll is that I can take this roll one and I can switch that over to a take-up reel. So if you want to do true roll-to-roll printing on this, you can actually switch the roll so it will do roll-to-roll, reel-to-reel printing. And it's a real take-up roll on it too. So you can roll it up print side in or print side out. You can change the tension on it. All the controls are right here on the front. So very, very easy to use and a lot of flexibility. So if you want to print a roll of something and laminate it or cut it later, for example, you don't have to have a separate take-up reel accessory. You can do it right here. Everything is built right into the printer. So definitely a cool benefit for those who are doing that roll-to-roll. So just so you can see a little bit of what's going on, this printer will actually feed media automatically. And what I mean by that is when I drop a roll into this printer, it will actually grab the edge automatically and it will pull that up into the printer. So we'll try to show you that in camera here a little bit later, but there's no more putting the roll in and having to manually feed it up into the printer until it catches anything like that. You pull this thing out, drop the roll in, put the latch down, and then basically I can just tell it to go into the printer. Yeah, so let's give it a second. We'll go ahead and demo this. Can we see that on the camera? Excellent. Okay. Let's roll 2. Let's load that up. And it's just taking out roll 1 right now because that was loaded. So it does that automatically. And it does that when you switch between the rolls too. So it'll pull one out and it'll feed the other one in as needed. So it's just finding the edge right now. And it pulls it right up into the printer and starts loading. So super easy, a lot less time to load these rolls, etc. And it's a really cool benefit, especially if you're changing these reels on and on all the time, all day long. So very cool stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on and just talk about a couple more features here. Okay. So speaking of media, there's a lot of different media capabilities on that. And this is why we really consider the Epson T-Series to be one of the most versatile printers in our lineup. So it definitely handles the CAD specialty medias, the technical. So standard bonds, 20, 24-pound bond, it'll handle that stuff. All the various matte medias, thick and thin. Mylar, vellum, tracing paper, a lot of these are very familiar with the NEC crowd and those doing those kind of technical prints. So it definitely handles all of that stuff. But on the graphic side, with this 6-color ink set, you can also do posters, you could do matte photos, you can do glossy matte canvas. There's a lot of different flexibility on this. And there's one other benefit too, which is kind of unique to Epson, and that is the ability to print on rigid poster board. So hopefully you guys can see this in the camera right here, but I can take this rigid poster board, I can put that directly into the printer. Show you the right direction here. So I can feed this in and the printer will load this and print directly to rigid poster board. So it's a great benefit because you're able to take this and you can set this right up on an easel for a presentation, or you can use this for POP signage, and you can use this in a restaurant or a grocery store to talk about the sales that day. There's a lot of different things on that, but the cool thing is you place this right into the printer, it prints directly to it, and you don't have to take off the print and mount it on a piece of rigid substrate on the back. It's ready to go, it dries instantly, and you basically have a rigid poster boarded print that's good to go right out of the printer. So very cool benefit of this and a couple of other Epson products. But we've talked to a lot of folks already who are really, really excited about that feature because they do a lot of that rigid stuff and they're not going to have to mount those things anymore. Saves a lot of labor and time as well. So, okay. So media, we're cruising right along here. This is good. Okay, a couple more things on media. So roll media definitely handles that one. And we can do border-free prints. So basically, it will print all the way to the edge, left and right, if you choose to do so. It'll do that for a multitude of different sizes, including 20, 36-inch, 44-inch, all the way down to 10 inches wide. And it'll cut the front and it'll cut the back as well to give you a true border-free print. So if you want to do posters and bring those out of the printer ready to go without having to trim them afterwards, you can do that on all the sizes that we have listed here on the screen. So in terms of roll media capability, we also have increased the length of roll that you can run on this printer. So you can actually do up to a 6.7-inch diameter roll through the printer itself. To give you an idea on that, that is in a lot of cases about the diameter of a 500-foot roll of 20-pound bond paper, depending on the manufacturer. But we actually have 500-foot rolls loaded in this printer right here, right now. So again, you know, we know a lot of production users are cranking through a lot of bond paper, a lot of plans. And if you want to put those larger rolls on this printer, you can do that. And it also handles 2- and 3-inch cores. So no problem as far as that goes. Okay, one of my favorite things to talk about, believe it or not, is our print basket. So our catch basket. When we look at this printer, you can automatically see that versus some of our previous generations, there's no catch basket showing right now. So that's very interesting because it's hidden. It's kind of like a Houdini catch basket in here. And when I take this and pull this out, that instantly becomes the catch basket for our print outputs. So it's pretty slick because when I need it, it's here. And when I don't, it's not. And then I can walk through and I can continue to do what I need to do without that print basket sticking out. So I know a lot of people sometimes can be, you know, starved for space, or you've got multiple printers going on, or, you know, you've got, you know, some places you need to walk through. It's really neat to be able just to pull that thing out when you need it and close it away when you don't. So very cool. We always get really great responses on our catch basket designs. So we like to tell engineering that they're doing a very good job with that part of the printer, because our catch baskets team turned to be pretty slick when we see the new designs on this stuff. So, okay, let's move on to the next slide here. Okay, so in terms of catching media, speaking of, that's one way to do it. On these production models, we are introducing a production sheet stacker on this. So this is a adjustable stacker that comes in, or rolls away, and allows you to flat stack up to 2 full rolls of media, or stacks up to 2.3 inches thick, whatever comes first. Or 72 sheets of glossy poster paper. So basically, it just connects to the printer. There's no lines, there's no wires, there's nothing like that. It's strictly mechanical, but this comes up, rolls in, and it's adjustable for larger paper lengths. And you can run your stacks, and basically when you're done, you just pull this thing up, grab the finished output, and you're on your way. So very cool design, very slick. One note too is that we're going to have these available for the 24-inch printers, 36-inch printers, and the 44-inch printers. So we're going to have a flavor and a width for all the printers that we have in this lineup. So this is the first time that we've had a stacker in this SureColor T-Series line. So this is very exciting. It's something that's been requested for a very long time. So we have that solution that's built especially for those who are doing a lot of output, creating those plan stacks, creating those stacks of posters, and just want to get those things out and then grab the stack when it's done. So that's something else that's coming down the pike here, and we're very excited about that. Okay. So connectivity options, we're talking about a lot of different ways to get the prints into the printer and do it very quickly. So one of the things you'll see on the screen is Wi-Fi. So our previous platforms, some of them were able to have Wi-Fi. Our previous generation of production class did not have Wi-Fi built into it. but this does have a Wi-Fi, high-speed Wi-Fi connection that will connect to wireless routers and will connect to iPhones, iPads, mobile devices, etc. So you can do printing right from all those mobile devices on the machine itself. So that's a great benefit, because if I have a PDF on an iPad and I'm in a construction job trailer, or if I'm off site somewhere where there's no internet, I can walk up to this printer, tether it directly to the printer, and I can send that PDF over to the printer and get that thing printed out. So same thing with USB and the ability to print PDFs, JPEGs, TIFFs, and plus with that Adobe Embedded Print Engine, that's going to be great, because that makes it a true PDF workflow where you can take PDFs, send it through the printer in a single action, and get those things out and printed and ready to go. So lots of different connectivity options. And we wanted to expand that because we know that not everybody's connecting the same. So we want to put those options out there so everybody can get their prints through on all these different devices and get them through quickly. Another option coming, and this is an optional solid state drive for this printer, but I did mention solid state drives. So we're actually moving away from hard drives over to solid state. And in that little space in the back for this option, that's going to give us the ability to have a lot of space in there. So it's a 960 gigabyte solid state memory option. Technically at this point, it's the largest capacity in its class. And it's something that's going to allow you, if you add the option on, to free up a little bandwidth from your network and computer by storing your files on the hard drive itself. So if you have prints that you're doing over and over and over, or multiple jobs from the same file, you can keep those on the printer versus having to send them from the computer every time and get those over the network. So it is encrypted and TPM chip protected. So there's some security elements that are built into that hard drive. And it's a lot of benefit for those who are printing things a lot and doing them repetitively and don't want to have to send those from your computer all the time. So that option, that new solid state drive, is going to be available on this printer. And the printers themselves, we know that security is becoming more important. It's becoming very important. So we support many popular security requirements. There's over 28 features, protocols, features, et cetera, of security built into this new platform. So we have lists of all those if anybody's asking if it has something or does not have something specifically. But that's one of the improvements that we were able to adapt to, especially with that need becoming so much more prevalent in today's environment. And we also have our own Epson Cloud Solution port. So let me talk about that for a second. But basically, this is a free service from Epson that connects to the printer or multiple printers. So if you have 10 or 20 or 30 different printers, maybe across multiple sites that you want to keep an eye on and monitor, you can do that with Epson Cloud Solution port. So it's a cloud-based solution, obviously, and it connects to all of these so you could see what's happening with the printers. And that could be something like if there's ink out, you can get notified. If there's usage going on and you want to see how many square foot or ink usage and stuff like that, you can see that through Epson Cloud Solution port. If you want to see how many pages are going in or what kind of uptime these printers have and create reports on that stuff, Epson allows this Cloud Solution port available to this new printer platform for free, so you can do all that stuff. So definitely a cool thing to take advantage of, and that's going to be enabled by this new platform. And then also too, there's a lot of third-party options out there in terms of print management and in terms of color management as well. So you can see those popular logos on the screen. So we'll have compatibility with a lot of third-party software support. And also too, our Epson's own Print Admin is another solution, kind of a little different from Port, but it will allow these to be integrated in a lot of different office environments. And what I mean by that is it will support LDAP. It'll support a lot of different situations where maybe you want to have key card access to be able to release a print job, or a PIN code, or you only want to allow certain people to use the printer and others not. So with this Epson Print Admin and the capabilities built into that printer, we've really enabled this to be more friendly to go into the office environment as well. So we've got a lot of flexibility as far as that goes, but when you think of those features and think of putting this on an existing network, we do have a lot of options that open that up. So that's definitely a good thing that we're allowed to or enabled to do in this brand new platform. So I think we've kind of gone through a lot of printer stuff. We've done everything inside and out, top to bottom. Let's talk about warranty and service for a second. Obviously, another very important, just as important as security, is keeping these printers going and making sure that things are relatively trouble-free in the life of the operations. So basically, we do offer a standard 1-year warranty on all the printers, and it's on-site, usually next business day service. Our technical support is actually done by representatives right here in California, and it's available Monday through Friday. So if you have any problems, you give us a call. They'll try to talk through if there might be an issue they could solve over the phone. If they can't, then we send somebody out usually next business day to take a look at the printer and get things going. So that's our 1-year 1-year limited warranty that comes with the printer out of the box. We also have an option to extend that service for plans up to 5 years in 1-year increments. So if you want to have 2 years of total coverage, you can actually add on a year of service on top of that standard warranty, and you can have 2 years of those benefits from the standard 1 year. So you can do that coverage up to 5 total years of coverage. That gives you that next day business service and that phone support capability that comes from Epson. So up to 5 years on that. Okay, so our available models, we talked about a little bit more. We showed the 44-inch and wanted to express that we have 6 new models that are coming. So we have a couple flavors of the 44-inch. We also have 36-inch versions of this. And we have 24-inch versions of this. So some of them will be single roll in the 24. Most everything else in the 36 and 44 will all be dual roll. And in the single, we have some with Adobe Print Engine, some without. So a lot of different flavors. But if you're using a 24, 36, or 44-inch wide workflow, we're going to have a solution for that. So that's the bottom line. Lots of different models coming out. And then towards the summer of next year, we will have multifunction models on these as well. So if you have something where you need a scanner, we do have products coming down the line for multifunction too. Okay, so we've gone through a lot, about 30 minutes here, 35 minutes with a delay, no problem. But let's wrap it up and just encapsulate kind of everything that we've talked about. So this is a brand new production class from Epson SureColor T-Series CAD and technical printers. Very, very fast with that 2.64-inch print head, ultra chrome ink set with red XD3. So 6-color ink set built into these. Very small, very compact design. Rolls off the pallet, plugs in, and you can get this thing printing in as little as 30 minutes. A lot of different media handling options, built-in Adobe Embedded Print Engine into most models, so it will have that capability to do those transparent layers, speed up PDFs, etc. Very easy to operate, 28 security features built in, and the third-party support as well as support for our own Epson Cloud Solution port. So lots of different things built into this tiny package right here, but we're very, very excited about this product. And the first printer that will be shipping is coming in March, and our MSRP will be $69.45, and that was this 44-inch printer that we showed right here. So we'll have 24 and 36-inch products shipping after that one, but the 44-inch will be available first, and that is the MSRP on this product. And I think that's it. So right now we will do some Q&A. I'm sure we've got some questions, and what you can do is you can type those questions down in the Q&A box, and that'll come right over to us, and we can read those off the screen and go through anything that you'd like to talk about. So got one question right here. So how about ink? Ink prices are coming. So those are going to be available very soon. You can actually check our website probably within the next 2 weeks before November 1st. And the ink prices for all the cartridges will be up live on Epson.com. So you can just go to Epson.com and search for T7770D, which is this product, T7770D. and you'll be able to see all the features on this, ink prices, accessory, all of that stuff. So, yep. Okay, is there a maximum recommended monthly volume in either square foot, for or D size? So no, not really. You can print as little or as much as you really want to. So interestingly enough, this thing will take anything down to a 110 milliliter cartridge, which is kind of the same as even some of our midline products, or even similar to some of our entry level products, where if you're not printing as much, you could run smaller ink cartridges through it, and you could use it as much or as little as you like. So there's really no issue, and there's really no problem with minimum or maximum requirements on printing. So great presentation. Thank you. That's an easy question. That's perfect. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate that. That's awesome. And can you show us how to load the inks? Yes, we absolutely sure can. So if we get our ink cam queued up, we'll show you how that works. So this is the ink bay right here. And there's actually shelving in the bottom, so there's a lot of storage space that's behind this ink door, but this is to the bottom right. And loading inks is just as simple as taking out the old one and placing the new one in and just sliding it in. That's it. So really easy, really straightforward. And again, you could do multiple size cartridges in here. But yeah, that's it's just really as matter as changing out the one that you want and put the new one in. Very straightforward. Yeah. Okay. And we have one more question here. Can you print from USB? Absolutely, you can print from USB. So right above that ink bay that we just showed, there's a USB port right here in the front. So if you want to print from USB, especially with the Adobe Embedded Print Engine, you could run PDFs, JPEGs, TIFFs, I think EPS as well, but you can put those on USB and print those right in front of the printer. No problem. Yep, great question. Okay. And let's see here. Let's do two more. So we'll be able to scan to USB when the scanner is developed. Absolutely. Yes, you'll be able to scan to USB, be able to scan to shared folders. You'll be able to scan to FTP sites, stuff like that. And you'll be able to scan in batches too. So if you need to do 30 in a single PDF, you can do that stuff, no problem. So, yep. Okay. And let's see here. One last one. Where do the ink bags go? That's a great question. We can show the ink bag here, or we can show the ink compartment here. And if you zoom out just a little bit, we'll show you exactly where the ink packs are going to go. So what's going to happen is that when the ink pack version is released, those ink bags will actually slide right into the front of the printer. So they sit in a tray, and then all 6 of them will sit right here. So if you need to change them out or put them in, you can do that right from the front of the printer. So this whole container right here is actually going to be changed out for a an ink bag setup where everything works right through the front. So, yep. Okay, I think that's all the time we've got for now, but thank you very much for coming. Sorry about the delay again, but I think we got started in a good pace here. And we really appreciate you coming, and check out Epson.com. The best way to go and search for these printers is look for on Epson.com the T7770D, T7770D, and that should pop up all the information that you need on this new platform. So once again, thank you, and we'll see you next time.